All right, so we're gonna jump into another tier ranking list, and this time we're gonna be taking a look at all the backpacks, the sentries, and the minefields against the bots. Anyways, we're gonna jump right into it. Let's do it. All right, so starting off with everybody's favorite backpack, the Jump Pack. This thing is really good. I do enjoy it overall. It's great for traversing the battlefield, jumping in and out of combat, meaning that you can jump into combat, destroy something, run away, or you can get out of combat if you get stuck. It's very good for repositioning, getting to elevations that you shouldn't be able to place sentries and things of that nature. This thing is an absolutely fantastic stratagem for traversing the battlefield in unique ways, and in general, it's just a lot of fun. It creates a lot of montage-worthy things. And against the bots, it's no different in my opinion. I'm gonna rank it a high A tier. It's an A+. I like bringing this thing overall, but again, I personally feel like there's some other things I'd rather bring more often than this, but it is fun to vary the playstyles depending on the build you decide to go with. It is a very good backpack stratagem to bring into any dive against any enemy in the game. All right, so for the B1 supply pack, this is a very good backpack in the game, and it's one of those ones that I really do miss when I don't bring it in. Like, for example, if I'm going against the Hulk and I run out of thermite grenades, I really wish I had the B1 supply pack to replenish that. Or if I had some sort of other stratagem that was very ammo dependent, I wish I had the backpack. It's great for resupplying your teammates if you got a good teammate that's using it, or if you're using it for your teammates to resupply dims or whatever. This thing is just so clutch and is so goated in my opinion. So I'm gonna rank it in immediate S tier because it is an absolutely fantastic thing to bring in to help just make things a lot smoother, because it's literally a mini resupply on your back. It's very good overall in my opinion, and the cooldown is very good as well. All right, so for the guard dog laser, it is solid. It's decent overall against the bots. The main thing that bothers me is that it doesn't always target the weak spots, which lasers are great if you're using that precision to hit the eyeballs or whatever the weak spot is. That's when lasers are at their highest potential. With this, it just catches them on fire. It's great for dealing with the smaller units, but against Devastators and all the other units, it's kind of wasted because the lasers are going to be bouncing off their armor and things like that. So I'm gonna rank it a B tier. It's good for getting consistent fire onto the enemies, but again, it's not hitting the weak spots as consistently as what you would do with your, like, the laser cannon or something like that. So there's just other options in my opinion that are better. It's a different story for the regular guard dog because it does have medium armor penetration, and it is going to be consistently punching through a lot of the shields of the Devastators and really doing a lot of damage because it does prioritize those weak spots a lot more consistently. So I'm going to rank this actually above. I'm actually going to rank it above the jump pack in my opinion. I feel like I want to bring this more often because yes, the jump pack is great for jumping out of situations and really traversing the battlefield, but in terms of just having something consistently shooting at the enemy, having the guard dog is great because you could be running away, needing to escape, or just needing something to help you in a moment while you're pinned down. The guard dog is a great companion, and actually with the ammo economy changing quite a bit around it, it's just really good overall and a fantastic option against the bots. So the ballistic shield is more usable against the bots than it is against the other factions, just because there is a lot more gunfire, so it does deflect gunfire better, and it will protect you if you get hit by a turret tower or things like that. So it's definitely better. I'm gonna rank it a C tier overall still though, because I really do wish it did better against the melee damage, like against the shredder enemies and whatnot. And while it is good at taking some damage, I don't know, I feel like I'm still getting damaged a little bit from, like, you know, different things, but it's good, but it just needs a little bit of a rework overall, and it can destroy pretty easily, which is very frustrating as well. But I really want this thing to be a lot better because it is fun overall if you want to mix things up. All right, so the shield backpack has just been a consistent stratagem against the bots because of the gunfire protection. Basically, this is going to give you the highest level of protection against the bots, and it's just very good overall. Again, like compared to the other factions, I feel like that it's probably the most viable and always has been since the beginning of the game. I'm gonna rank it an S-. I had it in the A tier initially, but an A+ felt like it was doing a disservice to it, so I'm gonna rank it actually an S- because I feel like there's still some other things in the game that I would rather bring over the shield backpack, but it just makes the bots so much easier because you're able to deflect a lot of the incoming gunfire, and it's just very good overall against the bots. All right, so for the guard dog breaths, again, say that 20 times fast. It's not good against the bots. I'm gonna rank it a D tier. It's better against the bugs and the illuminates, but against the bots, gas is just not great. Now the gas grenade is really good, and the gas strike is really good, but in terms of the sterilizer and the dog breath backpack, they're not great because you got to be up close and personal. And you don't want to be up close and personal with the bots too often unless you're trying to just run and gun type thing. But yeah, this just doesn't add any extra variety to your playstyle and is not something I bring in at all. All right, the directional shield is a by far better version of the ballistic shield. This is going to actually really protect you very well against the bot shots. So I'm going to definitely rank this in the upper echelons of the A tier. I'm going to rank it actually below the jump pack, because this is a lot better version of the ballistic shield, because it actually does protect you against melee damage fairly well. Still has some inconsistencies there. And it does protect you against the gunshots very well. So you can still use the crossbow, you can use the stun lance, or whatever one-handed weapon you want to use with this thing. Is absolutely fantastic against the bot. So it's definitely an A tier option. All right, so jumping into the sentries and the emplacements. So the shield generator is very underutilized for how good it is. Honestly, this is borderline an S tier stratagem because it is so great if you use it well. So you have to be careful with this thing, because the main thing that people mess up and reason why people think it's not great is that it can be destroyed by hell pods or whatever. So if you're in the thing and people call in their stratagems or other sentries or things like that, it will destroy the bubble. So you have to time this, right? So you got to like place all your stuff in and then call the shield thing in. And then it's really good, because if you have mortars going off, this thing will protect the mortars from incoming fire. Honestly, this is a really good stratagem if used right. And that's the biggest thing, is you got to use this thing correctly, because it can be immediately disqualified if people are just throwing in stratagems or reinforcing each other into the bubble. I think they should fix that, honestly. They should make it to where things can go through that are your allies, but enemy things don't come through. I don't know how they would do that, but they need to fix that. But I'm going to rank it right here above the directional shield, just because again it has that stipulation and you have to have a team that really knows what they're doing. But again, this thing is a very good borderline S tier stratagem if used properly. If they fix that fact that things can burst the bubble, that would be great. But in general, it provides so much freaking protection, and the fact that they made it so much larger is absolutely great in my opinion. All right, so the Tesla Tower is another one that I'm kind of on the fence on. I was borderline B tier, but I'm actually ranking it an A-, just because it is very good against the bots, because it does have great overall protection to make it more durable, and the bots are less accurate, kind of like stormtroopers from Star Wars. They don't really hit the little thing too well, but it's gonna do some good damage overall. You're not gonna regret bringing this thing. You place it well. Hulks can technically bust through it and destroy it, or various things like that, but if you place it very well, this thing can do some really good damage against the bots overall. All right, so the HMG emplacement is just really good against the bots, especially because they're more stationary and things like that. I'm gonna rank it an immediate S tier. This thing is freaking fantastic if used in the right hands, and it's great if you pair it with any other sentries like the mortars or anything like that, and go for like an all like sentry type build. It is so freaking fun because this thing has heavy armor penetration. It's gonna really do well against the Hulks. The only weakness I think it has against the tanks and things like that. So you got to be careful where you place this thing. But overall, man, this is gonna absolutely eviscerate the bots. It's very good overall. It's the same thing for the anti-tank emplacement. I'm just gonna rank that just above the HMG emplacement. This thing is a freaking like monster against the bots. It's gonna do a ton of damage against the tanks, do a ton of damage against the Hulks, factory striders. Anything in this thing's way is gonna get absolutely destroyed. You can also pair that with the shield generator, so there's something for that. So it's just great, man. Like if you place the shield generator around these things, it's absolutely fantastic because you're going to be protecting yourself very well, and you're going to be able to eviscerate many of the bots. This is an incredibly fun loadout. That's going to be maybe one that I showcase on the channel very soon, but it is very fun overall. So the Flame Sentry, I'm going to go ahead and rank a D tier because fire stuff is just not great against the bots, and because they have so much range, you got to put this thing right into the heat of combat, and then this thing sets itself on fire and destroys itself. Again, the Flame Sentry has some small issues that need to be tweaked, but in general, fire stuff is just not great against the bots in general. But this thing needs fire retardant, so that way it doesn't set itself on fire. But this is the last thing I'm going to be bringing in next to the dog breath backpack and the sterilizer into a bot encounter, in my opinion. All right, so both of the mortars are freaking really good against the bots, especially when you're assaulting the camps. Basically, you're going to place these things just outside the camps, and they're just going to basically unload hell onto whatever's going on into that camp. The mortars are really freaking fun. I'm actually going to place them right here just above this shield. I'm going to place them just below the shield generator. Both the EMS and the mortar are basically like bread and butter. You can bring them in separately, but really the best way to bring them in is together because they do kind of pair off each other because the enemies are stunned up, and then the mortar is blowing them up. It's a very, very nice 1-2 combo, so this is a very good combination to bring against the bots. The Rocket Sentry is also a very good option to bring against the bots, even though I feel like that a lot of the other sentries suffer from getting destroyed very quickly because of the gunfire, but I do feel like it's pretty good. I'm going to rank it actually just above the Tesla Tower. I feel like it's a good A tier option. It's not great, but it's really, really good overall because it has great ammo economy. It's going to do some good damage against all the other enemies, but it will be destroyed by factory striders and hulks and things like that if not placed well. So it's got some limitations, but in general, I feel like it's one of the best sentries to use against the bots next to the mortar. Another great sentry to bring against the bots is the Autocannon Sentry. This thing is also an A tier option. I'm going to rank it actually just above the Rocket Sentry because I feel like it's going to be able to devastate a lot more because autocannons in general are just great against the bots, and this one is no different. Now again, it suffers from the same things, can be destroyed very easily if not placed well and things of that nature, but it is really, really good and very effective if you learn how to place this thing very well. So it's, in my opinion, just a notch above the Rocket Sentry in this particular encounter. So the Gatling Sentry, I'm going to actually rank a B tier because it's usable and it's not bad, but the bullets ricochet a lot off the armor. Now it does destroy the medium armored units pretty decently, but again, like it prioritizes the wrong things sometimes. It gets stuck shooting the wrong enemies and bullets are bouncing off of it. So I don't really love bringing the other sentry options or the bullet sentry options in my opinion, but it is decent overall. I'm gonna actually place the machine gun sentry in the same exact spot just above the Gatling sentry because it's a lot more ammo efficient, which is nice. And it does do some decent damage because it's not shooting as fast. It can prioritize weak spots a little bit better in my opinion on the bots, but it's the same thing. Bullets bounce off, it has some issues there, and it gets destroyed very easily. So it's definitely a B tier option against the bots. Jumping into the minefields, these are not the greatest in my opinion in general, but they're even worse against the bots in some ways. So the anti-personal minefield, I'm gonna actually rank here just below the flame sentry. I actually feel like the flame sentry is more useful. This will kill your teammates a lot, and it doesn't do a lot of damage to the bots. It's okay. It's good for the cannon fodder type deal. The incendiary ones I'm actually going to rank a little higher just because they do catch them on fire at least, so it's going to do some moderate damage to them if they do hit it, but again, it's a team killing machine if not placed well. The anti-tank ones I would rank a little bit higher than that. They're better than the ballistic shield in this case. So I do think that these are a little bit better overall because they are going to do some good damage to hulks and even the tanks for anti-tank. So they're gonna do some decent damage overall, but again, it's just not the greatest option in the world to bring in. So we did get one small stint with the gas mines, and they were pretty good overall. I thought they worked better against the illuminates and the bugs, but in general, I don't think that they're necessarily going to be a bad thing, and I can't wait to actually test them in the future. I'm going to rank them an actual B- because I feel like that they do have some usability because the gas cloud is pretty big and it causes caustic damage. So it's not bad overall, and I can't wait to test it a little bit more, but my initial thoughts are I'm going to rank it a B tier overall. Alrighty, so that's my full tier list for all the backpack sentries and minefields against the bots and Helldivers 2. So the S tier things are things that I bring in all the time, and I think that are not only insanely fun, but insanely effective and will be very useful for you against the bot encounters. The A tier are just such good options to pair with a lot of the S tier options and with each other. They're just absolutely fantastic options to bring in the bots as well. The B tier are things that are usable, but they're not necessarily the greatest options in my opinion, but they will vary at the playstyles if you want. The C tier are kind of memey. They're not really that great, but they will work, but they're not really that great at this moment. And then D tier are things that I wouldn't bring in at all because they're just not going to give you a lot of what you need, and they're more nuisances than they are actual benefits. Let me know what you guys think about my tier list down below, and also let me know what your tier list is for all these various stratagems against the bots and Helldivers 2. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.